to you, you're not listening. I can't be sure that there is nothing wrong when I'm not fitting. If you believe in all the things you say, you're far too cynical. I've got nothing to give you, tick the box, it's not applicable. Oh, what a life we're getting old till we die. Oh, I've been told I'm alive. Oh, I don't know why we're trying. Oh, what a life we're getting old till we die. Oh, I can't decide why I'm still here.
Hello everybody, welcome to the Shadow Drop podcast. I'm here with the one and only Graslu. How you doing, dude?
Hello, I'm doing good, thank you.
That's excellent. I'm glad to hear it. Not too warm. You doing okay over there?
Yeah, it's fine over here.
In Spain. By the way, the three Spanish phrases that I know are "te quiero," "un grande cerveza, por favor," and "tenga la camisa negra." Those are my three. So
Very nice.
Yeah, cheers. So your English is impeccable. Second only, of course, to your skills at Goldeneye and Perfect Dark playthroughs. Dude, every time I see Goldeneye footage on YouTube now, the little Graslu logo is in the bottom right-hand corner. How did you do it? How did you become the Goldeneye streamer?
Well, you know what they say in the movie, half of everything is luck, right?
That's true. And the other half?
That's pretty much it. Fate.
I thought you were going to say lots and lots of money. Oh, no, fate,
yeah. No, that's pretty much it. I just started doing that, I don't know, I think 2013 or so, because I wanted to share some videos on a forum, and then I figured I may as well just upload myself playing Goldeneye. Fast forward a few years, and then I'm pretty much the main Goldeneye streamer online.
It's crazy, man. Like I said, you're the Goldeneye Perfect Dark / all the other James Bond games as well.
Yeah.
You're the content creator, and for some reason you're here on this podcast / stream now. Thank you very much. Yes, Ginger, you do make custom levels, don't you, Graslu? You stream other people's and you make your own?
I have yet to make truly my own custom level. I've been working on some for over the years, but I still have to finish it properly.
Did you make those custom animations, though, that I saw recently?
Yes, I did. Yes,
okay.
And I'm going to release that soon when I finish a few extra ones.
Yeah, because they were amazing. What was the Peter Griffin, I've hurt my knee one?
Yeah.
Dropping your gun and walking off and giving up?
I did not expect that to go as viral as it went.
Well, this is what I'm talking about, dude. If something goes viral, Goldeneye or Perfect Dark wise,
I'm there.
You're usually behind it.
Yeah.
So it's amazing, dude. But let's go all the way back to the beginning. Like were you there on day one with Perfect Dark and Goldeneye? I'm already I've turned off the fan and I'm already starting to sweat. Jesus.
Well, Goldeneye is actually 1 year older than I am, so I can't really say I was there. Yeah, I'm 25,
Well,
but
so
I've
now, so
been
you don't
playing
only put
them.
my GoldenEye skills to shame. You're now age shaming me as well. Well, I'm quite
Sorry.
lucky that I had a Japanese Nintendo 64, and I had a neighbor who had an American Nintendo 64, and he was slightly older than me, so I was like 12, 13, and we got it on the day the import shops in this country got them, and it was a legitimate life-changing moment in gaming. I'd never played anything like that, and my friend convinced me to. We put it on 00 difficulty, started on Dam, and so it was that as well, because I'd never played a game like that before. Always normal or easy at that time in my life, and I just remember it was one of the greatest days of my life. you know, and I've held hands with girls before, and still, that's one of the greatest days of my life.
Well, as I was so young, I sadly cannot remember my first days, but I do know that I pretty much always had GoldenEye in my life. My dad will play it, and he will do the typical thing of giving me a controller for the second player, and we all know there's no second player on GoldenEye single player.
Well, but now it all makes sense regarding your
Yeah,
skills, because you basically grew up with an N64 controller in your hand.
I pretty much did. Yes, ever since I have use of memory, I remember playing Perfect Dark and GoldenEye by my own or with my brother.
Yeah. Well, now I don't feel too bad because you're like a child prodigy. You get kids playing an instrument young, and they're amazing at it. So okay, that's awesome, dude. So when was this? So you were born 98.
Yes.
Okay, great. It's so hot in this room. I don't know what to. Let's put the fan on low.
Yeah, don't hurt yourself.
Yeah. Oh man. But of course. But can you be considered a GoldenEye expert if you were playing in 50 hertz?
I mean, I played on 62 after like years later, of course. I got a Japanese import too.
Very cool. Yeah, because it was. I'm not the most technically minded person in the world. Like some of the issues with the new ports, I may not have. Yeah, tell me about it, Kindler. I may not have noticed like all of them firsthand. But even if I can't state what a problem is, you can tell that something's off. You know,
Yep, the
I'm
games
not.
were different.
Yeah, I'm not as. I know GoldenEye really, really well, and I know Perfect Dark quite well, but I did the first mission on the N64 Nintendo Switch Online app, which needs a better name. Can we just call it Virtual Console? And it took me more tries than I'd care to admit right here, and I blame the poor emulation. It wasn't my fault.
Yeah, you are right. It's not your fault. Did you play it with Joy-Cons?
No. I've got the Nintendo Switch N64 controller,
Hmm.
which is
Yeah,
great.
it's still not your fault.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Because I got a dongle for my original Nintendo 64, so I can use that controller with original hardware, and I love new things that are released like that for old systems now. It's really, really cool. But just how important. I mean, you don't have to tell me, but just how important is GoldenEye and Perfect Dark in the evolution of first-person shooters, do you think?
I think they were very important because they brought the. Of course, they didn't create the first-person genre. That was something for Doom or Wolfenstein, I will
Yeah.
say. But they were really important because they were the first games to show people that a shooter in a console will work.
Mm-hmm.
Before GoldenEye, you had a few shooters on consoles, but no other game sold as much as GoldenEye or Perfect. Well, not Perfect Dark, but yeah,
Yeah.
no game sold as much as GoldenEye on a console. Especially
Oh man.
25, 27 years later, it's still being talked about.
It was
People remember it and everything. There's no other game you can talk like that.
GoldenEye was single-handedly selling consoles back in the day to the real casual gamers. the ones who would only play FIFA, say, Goldeneye was, you know, it was that big a deal, and it wasn't just a big deal for FPSs on console. It was the first shooter that I had played where it wasn't just running around and shooting things. You know,
we have objectives.
The downloading of the data, the escorting Boris and then slapping him. You know, it was because I'd played a lot of Doom, a lot of Quake, and just how different it was. It just completely blew me away. And not only that, I was not really bothered by James Bond, but the GoldenEye video game turned me into a huge Bond fan as well. And having the movie as like a companion piece to the game was just a really cool, unique set of circumstances. Really.
Yeah, I was also obsessed with the movie back then as a kid.
It helps that the movie's great as well, obviously.
Yeah, I played the intro so much, like the facility scene. I played it so much that I damaged the disc on it, and I think I also had a VHS of it.
Amazing.
We lost it,
Yeah.
or maybe it broke. But yeah, I watched the intro so much because I loved how similar it was to the game.
Man,
that it actually broke.
I saw the film after I'd played the game. So when he goes down the stairs in Facility, the first time I was watching the film, Facility's playing right here, right now. I was like, oh my God, just down there is the body armor. And it was so cool.
Yeah. Like how they actually used the set layouts.
Oh yeah. Like, did they visit the set and get photographs?
Yeah. Yes, they did.
They must, yeah. I mean, you can really tell it. It was an attention to detail. Movie tie-ins were always bad before GoldenEye and after GoldenEye, so it was like lightning in a bottle. Everything about it was amazing because you had the single player and the cheats. Cheats hadn't been done like that before with the speed running. I mean, did GoldenEye start speed running? Maybe, you know, right?
Yeah, it was like Doom, but you actually had an incentive to go faster and unlock things.
But you know, hours and hours, evenings and evenings, just lost playing multiplayer with friends on those teeny weeny TVs that were then divided into 4, and we had no problem with that. At that frame rate.
Closer.
Say again, dude.
Just get closer to the TV and
That's
you're fine.
Right. That's absolutely right. But yeah, you started making GoldenEye and Perfect Dark content, did you say 2013?
Something like that, yeah, I think 2013 or... Yeah. Let me check quickly.
Was there
2012.
Was there a big explosion of popularity on your channel, or was it like a gradual thing?
It was gradual until I streamed the... It was mostly all the same. Like in 2017, I had my 2,000 subscribers special, and now I have 57,000.
And of course, I'm one of those subscribers, so you're welcome.
Thank you. That's a 7-year difference, but yeah, it was gradual. But then I streamed that mod of GoldenEye, the Mario characters one.
Oh yeah.
And for some reason, months after I uploaded it on my channel, it got recommended by YouTube.
Oh nice.
And it brought in a lot of new players. A lot of new subscribers.
Superb. That's how you do it.
And then, yeah.
No, sorry, go on.
Then it was the XBLA leak that got me a boost.
Well, I was just about to mention that. So obviously, I'm sure there's some things you can't talk about regarding that, but you had a playthrough of the complete XBLA port all of a sudden on your channel, and I saw your post saying, "Look for this in a few days," and I was over the moon.
Yeah, not many people caught that on Twitter. Like I was teasing about it for a week, I think, with small things. Like I posted a picture of the GoldenEye prop with the Xbox controller, and then the Rare HD logo and things like that. And that's when some people were like, "Wait, I know that.
I recognize that.
What's going on?"
Man, because the footage from there was that 20-minute footage that was on YouTube since, like, I don't know, it was on there for ages, And I was
Yeah.
just lamenting for so long. This game is finished. Here's the footage. We're never going to get to play it. We're never going to get to see it. And then one day, bam. And it was during the pandemic as well, wasn't it? Or just
Yeah,
before?
just after, I think it was 2021.
Well, still near enough. So we all needed some good news, and
Yeah.
that really was like. And then, so we come to something that none of us ever thought would happen because of all the licensing. You've got MGM, you've got Nintendo, you've got Microsoft, but all of a sudden we're told, hey, GoldenEye's coming to the Switch and the Xbox. And I obviously immediately thought, well, the Xbox version will be the XBLA version. But it's not. But that's okay because they must be good ports, right?
Or so we thought.
Well, you're rating them 11 or a 12 out of 10, you're saying, huh? They're that good.
Yeah, I remember when we got the first news and leaks with, the first moment we knew about this was because of the leak of the achievements on the
Yeah.
Xbox webpage.
Yeah.
And we were like, well, it's not going to be XBLA because we are already seeing the old graphics in here, but it's probably going to be 4K, 60 FPS, new controls, blah, blah, blah. Well, no. it was not
Lower
that.
those expectations, my friend. Just for life in
Yeah.
general.
They were already low enough, and they somehow managed to be worse.
Weren't even met. Well, the lowest. And like I said, I don't notice all the things that you notice until you point them out, and I'm like, oh yeah, look at the frame rate in Perfect Dark when you shoot. It's very clearly slowing down. But I messaged you about this on Twitter as well. When you fire up the Xbox version, still, the audio is so distorted.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, this is a whole new generation's first impression of the game. A game they've heard so much about from old men like me. And they're going to be like, this is it? Right? And I know it's old, but when you look at other remakes at the moment, like Final Fantasy VII, which came out in the same year as GoldenEye, and whether you like the direction of these new versions or not, you can at least agree the time and the money has been spent there. And I was playing a little bit more of the Metroid Prime remaster last night.
I was about to mention that.
Oh, it's so
Metroid
good.
Prime remaster released like a week or a month after that, and I posted on Twitter about it too, saying that just wow, it was perfect. Everything about it is perfect.
It's night and day. The two ports,
Yeah.
the two in terms
The
of
difference
quality.
between an actual port and just whatever they did with Goldeneye.
It really infuriates me because the game isn't getting treated the way it should be. We want it preserved, of course, in its original form, but I don't really understand when all the license holders have signed off on it and it gets re-released. Why would you then want to do such a poor job and
I don't know.
release it like that? Because I said to you, oh, the music's still broken at the start of the game, and you said they won't fix it. I'm like, yeah, you're right. They're not going to do any fixes. And on top of that, it's been released in a format where we don't own it. You know, it's on the Nintendo Switch Online service or the Game Pass or the Rare Replay collection, right?
Yeah.
And it's just quite frankly not good enough.
No, because you are not preserving the original game. They already changed things. It doesn't feel like the original. It has worse quality than the original. So they already missed that mark. And then it does not work as a remaster because it's not a remaster.
No, it's worse than the original.
Yeah, when something is worse than the original, you can't really say it's a remaster. It's like those new Alien versions, the film, where they used AI.
With the 4K AI, yeah, and it's messing everything up.
That's not a remaster. That's just call it a new version, maybe the AI version or whatever. But you can't say that's a replacement for the original. The Xbox version is definitely not a replacement for the original. and it's sad because we really need one, because
Oh yeah.
you can't ask someone from nowadays to buy an
Yeah,
N64 and play
exactly.
the original.
Yeah, because you can't, because then they have to get some sort of HDMI solution because modern TVs don't have composite. Yeah,
Yep.
it's. I mean, of course, there's emulation now. You're also amazingly helpful with posting ways that people can play it for a better experience. And
Yeah.
I've got Xenia running on dev mode on my Series X for the XBLA version. But what's the best version to play these old games? The PC port, is it, or is it Project 64?
For GoldenEye, it's still, I will say, 1964, the
Yeah.
GPD bundle. That one's, you can use any controller you want. You can use mouse and keyboard. You can play at 60 FPS, 4K. It's not perfect. It's still emulated, but it's good emulation, and it's a good experience.
And
It's a very old program, but it works.
it's so cool when companies don't do the bare minimum, let alone go above and beyond, or they do so very rarely, and then the community comes along and just takes care of everything, and it's so cool to see. Equally cool and frustrating though, because you see what can be done but isn't being done in an official release capacity.
I think in this case it's even more frustrating because we've had that emulator for over a decade now. Ever since 2012, you've been able to play GoldenEye at 60 FPS with mouse and keyboard on PC. And now they released a version that only runs at 30 FPS with the slowdowns, which is like, are you telling me we've been enjoying a better version for 10 years now?
And also, Nintendo are so we know how Nintendo feels about emulation, but what they should be doing, but they won't, is instead of shutting down the emulation sites, you want to be talking to the community and working with them, because then they help you release the best product. Look at Sonic Mania. Sega eventually turned to the community to make a game that lives up to the old Sonic quality.
Yeah.
And so few companies do it, and I don't know. I don't understand why. Because contract them, pay them, whatever.
Sadly, I don't think Nintendo is ever gonna do anything like that.
I know, dude. It sucks. Because the people who did the XBLA port weren't even. No one spoke to them at all, and they learned that it'd been re-released, not their version, but the original version, and they weren't. They weren't consulted at all. Now I get that Nintendo are definitely going to be saying things like, there can't be a better version on Xbox. The versions need to be the same. But to then say also the Xbox version can't have online. So the only official way to play GoldenEye online is on Nintendo's service. And how does that work out, Graslu, when you try and do that?
It simply doesn't work. You can see my posts back then being excited about, well, maybe we get an easy online solution. Here's my Switch code to add me. And then 5 minutes in, you realize that that's just never going to work unless you are really close to your friend.
Yeah,
Also, that's the thing. You need to be friends with people to actually find players. You cannot just matchmake.
I know, man. I still don't think Nintendo really understands the internet at all.
No.
And it's now 2024, so
Nah.
I don't know when it's going to happen, if it's ever going to happen. But yeah, if there was an online mode on the Xbox version, that would be something. But instead, that's why I know you said recently you're not as big a fan of the XBLA Perfect Dark, but when that game came out for me, I was in heaven. I was like, I'd never played it with dual analog before. It was brilliant. The visuals looked great, and I played a lot of that online with my friends. And
I loved it too, don't get me wrong.
But obviously you're a purist.
I mean, sure, but I did love that version too. I played it a lot with my brother. I remember when it was about to release, and people told me it was fake, and I was like, no, it's right there in the shop. They are actually doing it. Um, I enjoyed it a lot. It was actually the first time I beat all of the Perfect Dark alone on Perfect Agent. It
Nice.
took me until the Xbox release, and then I went back to the N64. I didn't realize about the problems it had until a few years later
Yes,
when
that
yeah,
when you get a bit more technical and you're making the content and everything. Sure.
yeah, that's when I realized, wait, there's something wrong with the aiming in this game, and it's actually the XBLA version has a 45% death zone on the aiming stick. When I found out about that's why the aiming feels bad, I was like, I cannot play this. Especially after I'm so used to playing the N64 version without aim assist. So
Well,
I
that was me
can't.
back in the day. I'm not quite at the levels that I used to be at, but
Yeah,
you know, it's not just that the
it's
audio
still
in
a
the
good
Xbox.
version.
Go
Don't
on.
get me wrong. It's still a good version. The XBLA version on Perfect Art is still very good. It's a good option. It's very good for casual play.
Yeah.
It's just that nowadays, knowing what I know, I cannot recommend it as the best way.
Sure. Oh no, 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 for sure. It's I, uh, man, it blew me away. I was like, wow. I was like, what a quality remake. You know, very cheap on Xbox at the time, and like I said, we got so much play out of it. Because you could do local and online, and it was just, you know, and like I said, we were spoiled by that port in many ways because now
Yeah,
this is what we're getting.
that's another thing. I don't. You mentioned that Nintendo probably asked Xbox to not have online, right, on the GoldenEye version.
Assumed so, yeah.
I don't think that's the case. I think just that they did not want to spend any money on creating any kind of network code or whatever.
That makes more sense. It's
Yeah,
sometimes
because
sometimes, you know, we humans are like, why is this happening or why isn't this happening, and we theorize all these things, but it's usually just money. That's usually the
yeah,
answer.
usually it's always just money, especially when you see the developer. I forget the developer name right now, but the
Code
guys that work,
Mystics.
yes, Code Mystics. They posted on Twitter that they are open to work on updates and all that, but the funds are not there or that they are not being contacted for it. So my guess is that they did everything in like a few months with little to no funds.
Well, I mean,
Then
the end product shows that very much. But like I said,
yeah,
I it's not good enough because not only younger gamers who are now coming up, but you know, friends of mine who are my age grew up at that time, who didn't have a Nintendo 64. They don't have a lot of fondness for GoldenEye because their experience would be going around their friend's house, playing it on a quarter of a teeny CRT like we spoke about, and getting decimated and being like, oh great, that's GoldenEye, is it? And so I thought it would be so cool for them to play the campaign in, you know, 4K on their modern console, and I could be like, see, it is good, right? And there's no way they're going to come away from the Xbox or Switch version thinking that.
no.
You've documented a lot of the issues, but the
I mean, there's of course a lot of people saying that, well, it's good enough. I had my fun, and I'm like, of course you had your fun. People have been playing GoldenEye with a keyboard only on emulation forever, ever since the early 2000s,
Yeah.
with broken graphics and everything, and it's still fun because it's a fun game.
the
The game
Black
is good.
Sky.
Yes, exactly. In the Black Sky.
We'd see that for so many years in people's videos on YouTube.
Yeah, and people still enjoy that. They don't mind because the game is fun. Of course, you can have all those problems and still have fun. The game is good, but that doesn't mean the release is good.
And
Like not at all. Like
the
I'm glad you had fun with it. Like I truly am glad you had fun with it, but it's just not a good way to enjoy it.
yeah, and obviously talking to you and hearing your voice now, you know, you sound like the loveliest, most friendliest guy ever. Obviously, when people tweet stuff, text can be taken a lot of different ways. But you're just, what you do is you go online and you're like, here are some frame drops here. This music hasn't played at the end of this Perfect Dark level here. But it's not, people don't reply with, oh, I had fun. They're like, what are you doing? Why are you being such a hater? and
Yeah.
you're just very calmly saying, here's the problems with these new versions. It's really
Yeah, like
strange.
literally all I'm doing is documenting the issues so they can maybe fix it in the future, or at least let people know that if they pay for this, they will face the issues. I just want to inform people about that. I'm not hating on Nintendo or
Exactly.
developers or anything or Code Mystics. I never hated on Code Mystics, even if I said that their work is great. I also said that it's great in many ways because
Hmm.
really the Xbox release of GoldenEye, it's bad, but credits where it's due. Uh, it's good emulation. Like the Xbox version is emulated as well.
Hmm.
They did that correctly, except for a few things graphically.
The bug
And
that I sent you was the guards phasing through the wall.
yeah, that's something that I still don't know how they managed to fuck.
I couldn't believe it because, like I said, there's games like GoldenEye that we've played so much, and the muscle memory is ingrained. Everything that's supposed to happen in the levels,
You know, yeah.
And then I was getting shot, and I was like, "What's happening?" And there was a guard halfway in the wall, and I was like, "That's never happened before." And I used to find bugs in GoldenEye, and then I became when I became a QA tester. One of the at Sega, one of the interview questions was, "Have you ever spotted any bugs yourself?" And because GoldenEye was the game I played more than any other game, I was like, "Yeah, this, and happens." You know, stuff like throwing the mines on the monitors and freezing the rockets in the air, just stuff like that. So when these new issues were happening, I was like, I don't even understand how they're happening if it's being emulated.
Me neither. Like it's good emulation, but they somehow introduce issues that were never there on the N64. And my favorite thing is, the thread I made on Twitter with Perfect Art with all the issues. I made a similar one with GoldenEye, and there was people telling me that that was always the case on the N64. Like
No.
guards always phase through walls, and I'm like, you are not gonna teach me how the game works, dude.
It's like, oh, you're right. I was wrong. My memories are wrong. You were right.
No, yeah, like people probably remember the guards walking through. Well, when they got stuck inside the door, and you could see their face running through it. That's probably what they remember. But no, you never got to the degree of guards facing through walls.
Yeah, guards using ID clip to walk through the walls. No, it wasn't.
Yeah, no, that never happened.
Like I said, though, the most egregious issue for me is the music in the Xbox version. Not a problem on the Switch version, but on the Xbox version, you turn it on, and I remember hearing that Bond theme kick in for the first time, and it hits you across the face, and you're like, "Yeah, let's play some GoldenEye." And this new one's like,
Yeah,
and I
all
just
the sounds. It's all the sounds. They're wrong. And if you go back to the first time I streamed the Xbox version, the first thing I mention is the sound is broken. It's the first thing I say, like a second after the Rare logo starts spinning, because you can hear the sound broken.
yeah.
And that's the first thing I said. And ever since that moment, I knew I was about to experience the worst thing in my life.
And we should be able to not call out, but we can say, hey, here are some problems with the new version of GoldenEye, or hey, I wish Nintendo did this and this with their online service. And there's just a contingent of people online who see that and they take it way too personally because maybe Nintendo's their favorite company. And I love Nintendo. I was always defending Nintendo during the Wii years against the hardcore gamers who are like, why are you playing, blah, 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 blah. But man, we can't be fanboys here. I'm thankful for everything Nintendo has given me, but they do a lot of things wrong, and we're allowed to talk about it.
Yeah. Like, their service is good for what it is until you get to the N64 emulators.
Yeah, and at least they've gone back and improved some of the things that the internet were pointing out, like the fog in Ocarina of Time.
Ocarina of Time, yeah.
But yeah, it's the cheapest by far. But then again, you get what you pay for.
it's the cheapest by far, but at the same time you have to pay extra to get access to it, which is ironic.
Of course, I forgot about the expansion pack. But hey, we've got a whole new mature app. So I'm so glad they put it in a separate app, because I've got the Japanese ones as well. So I've got all these separate apps. Just make one virtual console app. Put it all in there.
Yeah, they didn't really think about how to handle it correctly, I think. I mean, that's not their fault. That's actually just, the laws with ratings and child protection and all that. So you can't really blame them for all that, I guess.
I know, it's just a bit cumbersome, but what can you do?
It's just funny how it looks like.
So, are you telling me the new version of the version of Perfect Dark that's on the Nintendo Switch Online service? You're telling me that's not the best version to play?
No, and I will probably never play it again.
Oh, no.
The best version to play for Perfect Dark, it's definitely the PC port, which does have some graphic issues. It's understandable. It's a fan-made PC port. But there's a difference. People
doing it for no money, though, and more often than not get better results than the devs who are getting paid.
And it's going to actually be updated, and it will fix those issues. And even with those graphical issues at the moment, the gameplay experience is just way better than what you get on any other platform.
And this is the PC port, and there's a version that incorporates like some of the quality of life improvements from Perfect Dark right into Goldeneye, like footsteps.
Yes,
because I haven't played the PC port version myself.
Goldeneye doesn't have a PC port.
Oh right, okay.
The footsteps thing on Goldeneye is a mod that users can use for custom levels and all that. Perfect Dark is the only one with the PC port, which does have improvements done for the XBLA version.
Yeah.
Back into the PC port. So that's fine. That's good, because the fans are always going to be updating the game. It's open source. Anyone can do anything with it. It's always going to get improved. And it's already a better option than anything else out in the market.
Now, in terms of official releases, where do we go from here? Because it seems like after a few years, this Xbox and Switch version is just going to go away again. Like I said, they haven't let us buy copies of it, so I just think
Goldeneye or Perfect Dark.
Goldeneye.
Yeah,
it'll disappear from the Switch at some point. It feels like it's on a very short license, and then are we ever? Do you think one day we'll see the Goldeneye or Perfect Dark remakes that deserve to be made, or do you think this is going to be it?
I think this is it. I think this is their best shot, honestly.
Are you telling me that I should move on with my life and play some new games?
No, I'm telling you should play the original game on PC or the N64.
I was hoping
never move away from it.
So but speaking of new games, that new Perfect Dark trailer got me excited.
Same.
But it hasn't got some people excited in a specific way. It hasn't got people excited in a sexual way. And there are these people online, grown men, who are legitimately saying this because they believe it. This new Perfect Dark won't sell because it's not sexy enough. Why do these people want to have sex with video game characters, Graslu?
I have no idea. I can't answer that because I never thought that way. So I don't really know what's going on through their heads to say something.
They know it's pixels and polygons, right? Like you can't fuck that.
Yeah, and like they clearly don't even know the character, because Joanna was never meant to be sexualized like that. That was something that the marketing did. And the marketing team is completely different from the dev team.
Of course. And not only that, she looked different in almost every bit of artwork that I saw. She always looked different. She's different.
Hell, you are watching my profile picture, which is Joanna Dark from the Game Boy Color, and most people think it's Butthead.
Now that is sexy.
Yeah, like look at the lips, man, and that chin.
Oh, that's why the Game Boy version sold so great, because look how sexy that
I saw that image. I saw that image and I was instantly in love with it, and I was like, man, I have to make this my profile picture. She looks so hot.
and then I'm going to marry her one day. But I don't like I said, when you're a teenager, sure, that way of thinking is more understandable, even though it's equally as ludicrous. But I cannot believe there's angry discourse, some directed at you, saying that they don't find the new Joanna Dark sexy, so they won't be. I can't even, as I say the words, I can't even believe that they're coming out of my mouth, you know? And they don't see a problem with being like, yeah, I fancy video game characters. Yeah, so what? And then some people get a bit personal. Some people on certain accounts get a bit personal. all because, oh man, I don't know.
I mean, we saw what happened earlier this morning.
I just think some people, they need to get off Twitter when it gets to that point.
Yeah.
You know, I've been mad online before, of course, but now I'm like, there's no point in joining in this argument. And I put my phone down and I go outside.
And that was all because I replied to the guy that said that which you quoted earlier, saying that he's an incel and that he's whatever. Like, I didn't mean anything more than that. And then somehow some people thought I was talking about the community or everyone who said they disliked the model. And I'm like,
oh boy.
No, I'm obviously fine with you not liking the model. I'm not gonna make anyone like the model. I'm not like that. Of course, opinions exist, you know?
Yeah.
If you don't like it, that's fine. But there's a difference between saying you don't like it and then saying that the game is not gonna sell because she looks like a man or that she's not hot enough for you. That's just stupid.
At least I'm getting a good laugh. Like, it's so ludicrous that it makes me laugh.
Yeah,
but these people are real, and that's a little bit. And these people, you know, we've discussed the quality of these new ports, quote unquote. So the community's already got enough problems. Like, we don't need to be having these arguments, these petty arguments between adult men. You know, I have to shake my head at it all sometimes, dude. Especially
when we don't know anything about the game other than you can shoot at people. And there's already people saying that it's gonna be trash or whatever, and it's like, give it some time, wait for it to release, and then we will decide if it's good or not. Let's hope it's good. It's obviously not gonna be Perfect Dark from the N64, and that's why people hate on Perfect Dark Zero, which I think it's a big error, because Zero, it has flaws. It's obviously not the classic Perfect Dark experience, but I still really enjoy it because it's the last game ever to follow the Rare formula for single-player games.
Oh man, that is, yeah. I was one of those people who fired it up and went, oh no, this isn't Perfect Dark that I remember.
Yeah, I mean, for me it was probably different because you know, Perfect Dark Zero, I was 7 years old when we got it.
Man. Yeah.
So I actually remember getting it and playing it for the first time, trying to figure out how to turn on the Xbox controller because it was our first wireless controller and we had no idea how it worked. So I have fond memories with it, playing co-op with my brother and getting the red ring of death on the Xbox 360.
Oh, dude,
getting it faked. All that I experienced all of that, so I even on the bad things I remembered it dearly. Since the beginning I understood that it was not the same game, but I liked it for what it was.
Sure.
And that's what I miss these days. Like, there's no other game where you can put up these days in the single player experience and be like, I'm going to follow these objectives, but I'm going to complete this first my way, and then I'm going to fail this one because you can actually fail objectives. You cannot fail objectives in games anymore. You can maybe just game over, but there's no failing objectives and having to restart the match or going freely.
I really hope that... is this new version, is it just called Perfect Dark?
Yeah, this new version is supposed to be like that.
Okay. Well, man, if it has the objective nature of the old Rare games, I'm going to be very happy. The trailer looks really promising and exciting. Obviously, it's very controlled, and we don't know if we're seeing real gameplay. But man, I've got fond memories of Zero as well because it was the only shooter that I had at launch, and so again played a lot of multiplayer with my housemates when I was at university. And the intro, I thought was great. That song and the kind of Bond style silhouettes in the intro, I thought was
great.
Very, very cool. And I don't know who did the music on it. Was it Northgate? Was it Kirk Hope?
No, David Klinik.
Oh, okay, cool. But it sounded right for me.
Yeah, Zero actually has some remixes from the original game that you can hear, which is great.
Yes, I did not finish that game. But now I don't need to, because I've got your playthroughs to watch online.
I actually don't have one for Zero yet, but I will. I'm revisiting the game recently, and I've been enjoying it a lot again.
Yeah, I saw your the club level, and I remember, and it took me back. I was like, wow, I've not played this level since 2005. Amazing.
Yeah, I've been playing it on emulator now. That it actually runs great. You can play it at 60 FPS now, and it fixes a lot of the issues with the original game, which were like input delay with the lag and all that. And they actually broke. Yeah.
Sorry, no. Finish the thing you were saying.
In Perfect Dark Zero, they actually broke the music in 2006 in an update from 2006.
That's what I was going to ask you about. So you're saying that the best version, the best way to play Perfect Dark Zero is on the Xenia emulator?
Yes, if you want to experience an enhanced version, yes, definitely. If you want to play it on the original console, you pretty much need a real Xbox 360, and you have to be offline to decline the update.
The updates, yeah.
Because if you have the Platinum hit disc, or if you update the game, you will miss like half the game's music, which is a shame, because it actually has a great soundtrack.
It's such a shame because, like I said, I used to work in video game quality assurance. You fix something in a game, sometimes inevitably it will break something else in the game. But then what you do is you fix those issues, you push out another update. They just went, whatever.
Yeah, that never happened. And it's interesting that it never happened, because that was an update from 2006, and then they re-released the game in 2014 for Rare Replay, but they did not bother to change anything. So most people's first experience with the game is a version that doesn't even have the music, and that completely changed the feel of the game. Like, it's like if you try to play GoldenEye without music, it's not the same. It's simply not the same.
And it's another instance, like I said before, of people hearing about GoldenEye or Perfect Dark and then getting a bad impression because of a poor port. And first impressions count, and some people just, they won't go back to these franchises. We've just got a big raid from DJ Jason Sky. Thank you so much for that raid, dude. My name's Chris. I'm doing a podcast with Graslu right now. That's right, the Graslu. And we're talking about Perfect Dark and GoldenEye and all that other wonderful stuff. Thanks so much for that raid. I've got the alerts turned off at the moment because we're doing the podcast, but I see you and I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Now, dude, so what are your hopes for the future? Because in gaming, I like to say never. And I don't think it's completely out of the realm of possibility that we get GoldenEye remade again. I mean, there is that other GoldenEye that was first on the Wii.
Yeah, GoldenEye Wii, which it's actually a pretty good game.
I thought it was a really cool idea to base a game on an imaginary rebooted version of the movie.
Yeah.
I was like, that's a great idea, with Daniel Craig, the different way he goes off the dam with the parachute instead of a bungee cord. I was like, this is how you do it. You make it different, right?
It's funny because at the start I was not a big fan of that, of the whole game. The first time I got it back then, it's just like Zero. I actually had the age to remember now, so I remember being very excited about GoldenEye Wii and thinking, wow, they are actually releasing the game. I went to a game shop, and I was like, I want to pre-order GoldenEye Wii, and the employee on game told me, that's not true, that doesn't exist. And I'm like, what are you talking about? It's right here, look, it's the website. And they told me it's fake. And then I went a week later when they actually announced it on E3, I think, and it was like, I told you I want to pre-order GoldenEye for the Wii.
Graslu, I don't know how you do it, but you just attract all these
Yeah,
people
no.
who are like, you're lying, you're fake, you're a hater, and you're just standing there going, what did I do? It's real.
Yeah, I did nothing wrong. I'm just here. I just wanted to give you money to get this game.
Take my money. And I'm like, no, I won't. You're a hater.
I
Get
was,
out.
yeah. So I was very excited for the game, and then I got home. I played it with the Golden controller that it included,
Yes.
the Golden Classic controller, and I did not like it.
I liked it up until I met Trevelyan, and he just had the blandest face
Yeah, he looks like Eminem.
with a little beanie on. And I just
Yep.
said, I know you can't get Sean Bean, but at least get something Sean Bean-esque. This is terrible. And so I haven't made it all the way through that game either. But I liked the idea of what they were doing. And I remember, oh, it's coming out on 360, so I picked up that version as well. Because I thought that it would just be a better version. But there are problems with that. I don't really like the feel of it. It looks like a Call of Duty, but it certainly doesn't have the polish of a Call of Duty.
Yeah, the Xbox version is. I don't recommend it usually. It's funny because the Wii version, as I said, I didn't like it at the start, but then when I revisited it for my channel to make the playthrough, I actually enjoyed it a lot because this time I played with a Wii motion controller with the Wii sub, and that was a game changer.
Oh,
Like
nice.
you can aim, you can tilt your camera to pick corners and things like that. It feels more like the original did.
Very cool.
And it's a feeling that you don't get in other games, so it was unique, kind of like the original game.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something I truly enjoyed it, and ever since that playthrough, I've been like, hey, the Wii version is actually good if you do it this way, and yeah, much better than the Xbox One, because I tried the Xbox One later too, and it's just like you said, it feels like Call of Duty.
There's something off about it. Just the way
Yeah.
it feels.
The way it controls, the way the animations play, it's so different compared to the Wii, and it's just not very good.
Again, it's
It
one of those
looks
times
great,
where
yeah.
I can't put my finger on exactly what the problem is sometimes, but you can tell by the way it feels. And the Xbox version, I felt a little bit disconnected. You know, sometimes when you shoot a character in a shooter, and you feel disconnected, you don't feel like you've shot the guy. So I just felt that kind of feeling. But again, great idea. Imagine a rebooted version of the film with the current Bond. I thought that was a cool idea for sure.
Yeah, that was a good thing.
But you've been doing a lot of other Bond games on your channel as well. And I leading up to the eventual release of No Time to Die, we did a Bond season on here, and I it was the first time I played like Bloodstone and Everything or Nothing. And I was just having a great time until I got to the final mission of Everything or Nothing, and I kept dying. And the stream was like 5 hours long, but it was like the last level, so I didn't want to end the stream there and come back the next day. So I was just trapped on this 6 hour stream, not being able to finish this last level. It was, and that never happens on your channel. I'm so jealous.
Yeah, and if I remember correctly, on that stream I was also crashing, so I had to use save states. If you remember that,
Oh, dude.
because the game will crash. That was a problem with my PC that I fixed afterwards. But yeah, it was unfortunate.
Nice, because all these games came out after GoldenEye, and my response was always, "This game isn't GoldenEye." You know, Agent Under Fire, Nightfire. But to go back and enjoy the games for what they are, there's a lot to like about them, especially the car missions, which the N64 couldn't do at the time. You know, and that's very Bond to have a car chase in there and stuff like that. So
Yeah, it's usually what people say, that GoldenEye is not the best Bond game.
that's not
And
true.
I mean, it's true in the way that it's not. GoldenEye doesn't make you feel like Bond, like for example, Nightfire does.
The car chases, the
but it's
cutscenes,
definitely
the
the best
dialogue.
game
Yeah.
out of the Bond games. It's just not the best game to make you feel like Bond, if that makes sense.
No, 100% makes sense, of course. And then, you know, in Everything or Nothing, there's Bond girls as well, and a Bond villain, and everyone's voiced by real actors, and Everything or Nothing song by Maya is really great, especially the jazz lounge version. And when's that new? We don't have any recent news from. Was it IO who were doing the new Bond project?
007 project, yeah.
Yeah. When was the last time we heard anything about that?
Like 2020, 4 years ago, I think.
It sounds about time that we're gonna maybe see something new then. And what a time it would be to get an amazing new GoldenEye, an amazing new Bond game and a Perfect Dark game at the same time.
Yeah, it feels like they will be around the same time. I know that the Bond project is going all right. They keep releasing updates about new hirings and things like that. We haven't heard anything of saying that the game is, facing trouble with development.
Yeah. Like my beloved 1 vs 100 is on Xbox. Did you play that at the time?
Play what?
It was called 1 vs 100 on Xbox Live, and it was a game show where everyone, was answering the questions, and you could win real prizes, and it would happen like every other night for 2 hours, like a live game show that you could take part in from your sofa. It was just the best thing ever, and that was coming back, but is having some problems now. Which everything I love, all the games I love the most, this happens to.
It feels like nowadays everything has issues.
But like I said, I'd heard people get a bit worried about the new Perfect Dark because we hadn't seen anything in a while, and then that trailer dropped, and it was. Like I said, I'm cautiously optimistic. It's always best to keep those expectations low. But yeah, man. So I think that we'll see someone take a crack at another GoldenEye remake in our lifetime. But it's really sad that we can't rely on Nintendo and Microsoft to preserve this game as it should be on modern consoles with a decent online mode. I don't think we're asking for too much, especially as we pay for it. Like do the work, make it good. We'll buy it. Don't you worry about that. And but sadly, like I said, it's not getting the love that Final Fantasy VII gets. So I'm just going to be that old guy on his rocking chair going, GoldenEye was good, I promise you. And all the kids will be like, yeah, sure it was, Granddad. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, when they only play the Xbox version.
But like I said, new Bond coming out, new Perfect Dark coming out. Just a real shame that Rare aren't behind it, and the original Rare team have long since been scattered to the winds. Yeah. And that is sad for sure. I'm glad that Rare are at least making games now again, instead of working on Xbox avatars. But it's all the great companies that I used to love. They get shut down, or they stop being the companies that they once were, and that's kind of sad,
Yeah, I mean, Rare started dripping talent early on after Goldeneye, honestly. So you can't really blame Microsoft or anyone else other than themselves, I think. Like they have a lot of trouble inside.
Well, and the other problem is there's so many parties attached to the GoldenEye game, Perfect Dark, that it is still a miracle that it has been re-released. I mean, I'm not saying I didn't think that would ever happen,
Yeah, like remember when you mentioned the half an hour video of GoldenEye XBLA that was on YouTube forever, and then I dropped the full thing. If you go there and check the comments, you will see a lot of old comments of me telling people that that's never gonna happen. It's impossible. They don't have the rights. MGM doesn't want any of that, and then it happened.
Yeah, man. So, hey, the question I think is the GoldenEye, the official GoldenEye re-release, not the XBLA one, is the GoldenEye on Xbox and Switch as it currently stands, is it better than nothing? Because when I play it, I just, like I said, I think about people playing it for the first time and being like, they're not like this and they'll just turn it off. So is it better than nothing, or
No.
would nothing have been better?
Nothing will have been better.
How is that where we are, man? I can't even believe
Because
it.
it's what I said every time that we have this release, like Perfect Dark on Switch, GoldenEye on Switch, GoldenEye on Xbox. They bring in nothing new. They actually bring in issues and
Yeah.
a worse experience than what we had years before. So it's nothing new, and we will be perfectly fine without it because, yeah, they did nothing. All they did is give a bad first impression to people that will play it for the first time. They will play it and be like, "Wow, this sounds like shit," or "Why are enemies facing through walls? Why is this guy just inside this wall or whatever?" Like, yeah, I definitely wholeheartedly think that it's better to have nothing and just
Wow.
keep having expectations for maybe someday having a proper release rather than what we got.
But hey,
Because
at least we've got a sexy new Joanna Dark to look. Oh no, we don't even have
No,
sexy
we don't
Joanna
have
Dark
that.
to look forward to. Oh, Graslu, what's the point in any of it?
Yeah,
My gosh. Well,
it's just a shame.
but it's so cool, like I said, not just with GoldenEye, but look at these N64 games that are now being recompiled to run natively on PC in 4K, 60 FPS. It's so cool to have the community, because when these companies don't do what they should be doing, at least we're in a position where the community will take care of it. But then it's only the hardcores who will find those versions, and who will take the time to get it running on their PC rather than having it ready to go on your console for a whole new generation to play and go, I get it now,
Yeah, that's why I complain a lot about everything on Twitter and all those
Well, I
issues.
say you're doing God's work, dude. Like, you've done so much for the community. It's ridiculous,
Thank you.
Thank you, because on screen we're looking at one of your playthroughs right now, and I see in everything, isn't footage with Graslu on the screen, isn't that actually in the GoldenEye documentary?
Yes.
Oh dear. Oh my gosh. Well, like I said, we're not going to continue or start any new beef on this podcast. All I will say to everybody who are getting annoyed at Graslu for pointing out, problems, is just to calm down. Don't take it personally. These people getting annoyed, they didn't make the game, yet they kind of act like, but again, that's not exclusive to the GoldenEye community. Online now, people just get so reactionary so fast and take things very, very personally, even when the things they're taking personally is a very level-headed, hey, here's a problem I saw in a game. And they're like, what? You don't know what you're talking about, blah, 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 blah. But you do know what you're talking about.
Yeah, even the original developers are disappointed by their release, the new releases. They are happy that new people are enjoying the games and that they share the things. Like Grant Kirkhope, he gets tagged at least weekly about the watch music on GoldenEye, and he's always happy to see that it's still, like, people still remember it fondly.
The watch music has become a bit of a meme. It's not, and I love it, of course. It's not the most banging song on the soundtrack, though.
No, not at all.
However, seeing any part of the GoldenEye soundtrack become a meme is obviously great. Hey, I just want to say thanks for that follow, by the way, DJ Jason. Hello, Silent. Hello, Brum Toffee. I'm just saying hello to everyone, because with the podcast, I've got a guest. The chat doesn't get as much attention as they deserve, and I do apologise for that. But thanks for being here, everybody. Yeah, we're winding down right now, Graslu. So let's plug your channel, man. It's Graslu00.
Yep.
As you can see on the screen right now, and if you like GoldenEye or Perfect Dark content, you're really not going to need any other channels. But especially, if you're looking at best ways to get the cheats, speedrun tactics, that kind of thing, you'll find it all on Graslu's channel. And You're live regularly as well, aren't you, dude?
Yeah, I try to be live at least weekly.
When are you going live next?
Well, in 15 minutes or so, I have a premiere, so that's not being live.
15
but
minutes? What's the premiere?
It's Perfect Dark, the PC port. Totally not because of recent events, if you know what I mean. I recorded the whole game in 4K, 60 FPS with the PC port, playing with the original N64 controller. It's just a casual playthrough,
Nice.
and I just wanted to show the game in a proper way now that it has attention.
If you want to know any more about the beef, just go and look at Paul Graslu's replies on Twitter. It's just ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous. But you have made it in terms of GoldenEye content creation, and with that comes some absolute weirdos online, and that's just
that's life.
That's just how it is. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, absolutely go check out his channel. Who knows? You know, you dropped the news that we were getting the XBLA port. Who knows what exclusives are going to be broken in the future on your channel? But I'll certainly be looking at your channel to find out how to be good at the new Perfect Dark game, like you helped me scrape off the rust from my GoldenEye game in recent years. But it's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you, man. Thank you so much for doing this.
Welcome. Thank you. Thanks to you for having me here.
Again, just doing more GoldenEye content creation and not getting paid for it. So thank you.
Welcome. Thanks for having me here. Dude, it's been a pleasure to talk to you too.
I hope one day I get to play you at GoldenEye. But I say that it would be a massacre, an absolute massacre.
Well, I visited the UK several times to play GoldenEye, so maybe someday.
Holy shit! Yeah, definitely announce when you're doing that next, and yeah, we can play on original hardware that way.
Yeah, the devs will be there too, probably.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I've never met. I've had a little bit of interaction with Grant Kirkhope on Twitter, but like that's it, and that's probably for the best. Because if I did meet any of the GoldenEye dev team, I would just embarrass myself and gush over them, and no one wants that. So
they are great. They are all great. You will never feel embarrassed by them. They are all down to earth.
Oh, that's so good to hear.
Yeah,
and
I met several devs, and they're all very good.
And GoldenEye itself was not an accident, but it was a small team at Rare, a team of first timers who were basically told, go and make the Bond game if you want. And look what they did. And you tell me they're nice as well. So that's all I need to hear, really.
They're awesome. I remember when I met Doak, he was like, "You're Graslu00, right?" And I was like, "Yes."
Wow.
Oh my God, come here, let me take a picture.
He said that to you? Damn.
Yes.
That's so, man. And you've taken me back to a time at school where my friend was like, "What do you mean, Dr. Doak? He's called Dr. Doak." I was like, "No, he's not." He's like, "Yeah, it's Doak." It's like, okay. So maybe one time I'll get to meet the real Doak as well, and I'll call him that, and he'll never speak to me again. All right, dude. Well, I hope your premiere goes well tonight. Of course it will. And have a wonderful week. And thanks so much for doing this, man. I hope to speak to you sometime again soon.
Yeah, sure. Just let me know. It's been fun doing this.
Nice one, dude. And don't forget, that channel again is Graslu00. I will be back tomorrow with some Red Dead, wearing a cowboy hat in this heat. Brilliant. But as for the next podcast, just look for the next shadow drop.